Yo, Brian Saff, back once again. I'm your host, as always. This is the Talk and Play Blerdcast. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. I really appreciate it. It's never going to change. The appreciation is always going to be there. If you read the title, you already know what the fuck about to go down. You don't need to. My week has been fine since the last. My week has been fine since the last episode came out. I have nothing to report. Let's just play some music real quick and then get into this incredible news that James Gunn just dropped. Let's go.
Going dumb, going crazy, going dumb, going crazy, going dumb, yeah, going crazy, going dumb. On my mind, chasing dollar signs, sipping red wine.
So, James, he decided to come on in real hot, right? Like, we know what happened, him becoming, co-CEO or, yes, that's right, co-CEO with Peter. Either way, the news you just dropped, I'm like, this is amazing. I've never been so excited to participate in any kind of DC content. And I say that as somebody who loves Titans. Like, Titans is like probably the best DC show to come on any kind of program. Just in my opinion, I really fuck with Titans. Teen Titans, the cartoon from back, back when. Amazing storytelling there. Like, I really fuck with some things when it comes to DC, but the movie's been trash. We could just say that. They've been real hit or miss. I'm not gonna say trash. They've been real hit or miss because we had some Batmans that were really good, and a couple other movies. Aquaman was solid to the point where they was like, yeah, we're gonna go through it at number 2. So yeah, DC just ain't really. We're not even gonna talk about the TV shows because that CW side, like, Arrowverse was what it was. It was cool. And I guess the Flash thing, that was, that had a real run, pun intended. And then some other stuff sporadically here and there, but it's like they've never been like super consistent. So with James coming on and saying that this is what he wants to do, or that's what he's going to do, and no one, this is what he's going to do with the DCU as CEO or co-CEO of DC Studios, I'm like, okay, I'm back invested, like in a real way. So, I'm pretty sure y'all seen the YouTube video right now. I'm pretty sure it's circulating all around, nerd, blerd, geek, comic, Twitter, Instagram, all that. I know TikTok, all that. Everybody got it in rotation. It's exciting news. I'm just here to blurt out about it because I feel like this shit is about to be really fucking epic. And at first, I was like, man, I don't really want James to go over there and turn the DCU into like another, MCU. I didn't necessarily want it to kind of go like how the MCU is going, because MCU is going fine, but it's like, that's Marvel's thing and they kind of have perfected that. And then with DC, like the way it's spread out the way it is, like that could work. I could fuck with a bunch of like different like pocket universes just kind of moving with their own stories or whatever. But either way, after what James explained, it's kind of like a little bit of both, more so along the lines of being like another MCU. But I'm not mad. I don't care. I actually really fuck with the idea just based on the way he explained it, right? So him and Peter, right? They want to connect the films, the TV shows, the gaming, and the animation. That's fire. I think Marvel was attempting to get their gaming side on board with what's going on with the MCU, but it ain't really pan out that way. We kind of, right now, as far as the MCU is concerned, TV, film, and animation, they running pretty tight. Except for some like few things that have been delegated to like Disney XD, if that's still a thing. Like, you know, the Disney side. Either way, James said he has the next 8 to 10 years mapped out for all of those things combined, like TV, film, animation, and gaming. That's fire. Just as somebody who enjoys all of those things, you mean to tell me I'm going to have fire DC movies in the movie theaters, fire DC television shows on HBO Max, and then I could play fire DC games on my PlayStation and or Nintendo? We'll see. I'm fucking with that. That's fire. But what it does also like make apparent, and I want the geeks and the nerds and blerds and everybody who like really be into this, I want everybody to like be paying attention. That means the comic books are going to continue to be their own separate thing. Want to hear no shit about source material X, Y, and Z. The comic books are going to continue to be their own thing. What James is doing with the DCU, these are going to be the stories he wants to tell in the way that they are going to be told, regardless of what goes on in the comic books or what has happened in the comic books. He don't have control over that. He gonna pull things from there, obviously, because these characters come from comic books, but they are not going to be visual reflections of your favorite comic book series. It's not going down like that, because I have to say that for whatever reason, because at this point I realize that people don't necessarily understand that when it comes to the MCU. Like, the MCU is its own universe of Marvel, running parallel or congruent, whatever the fuck. It's doing its own thing, and the comic books are also doing their own thing. Yes, movies and TVs and stuff, they're pulling from the comics because that's where those characters originated from, but they're not trying to tell the exact same story. They are actually trying to tell new stories, or a similar story but in a different light, or the same story but in a different light. Either way, just wanted to make sure we clear on that moving forward. I'm glad he like specified this is my 8 to 10 year plan for these things, because y'all bitch about source material all the time, and it's like, bro, they don't control that. They can't do nothing about that. Like, they want to tell their own stories. Like, everybody who works on any kind of thing like this, film, television, movie, even shit, podcasting, everything, anybody artistic that's exchanging energy and information, they just trying to tell a story in their own way. That's what these people are doing. So let's move forward with that in our head, right? There's also this other news that he dropped where the characters are going to be consistent, played by the same actors, and telling an overall larger story in their individual stories. That's fire to me. I mean, that's what MCU pretty much does, but the way he got it going here, where it's like even the live action actors will be voicing their animated characters whenever they do like animated stuff with them. That's dope. I really, really fuck with that because that like adds another stitch of like continuity and like cohesiveness to the entire overall scope of what he's trying to do. And I really fuck with that because it just makes sense. Like, whenever we have an animated version of this thing and it's tied into our story, we might as well just have that actor that plays him on the movie play him on this cartoon. It makes sense, and that's a fire because there's so much you could do with that. I fuck with it. And I also fuck with this whole, I'm calling it the DCU like closing act, the final act of the DCU. I don't know, this whole like little DCU closing movies that they got going on. So Shazam, that's getting ready to come out. Actually looks really, really good. I don't think I saw the first 2 Shazams. I'm not even sure. I'm gonna watch them though just to catch up. Either way, is it 2 or is it this the 3rd movie, right? See, that's why I'm glad James is doing this, because I should know this. Either way, I'm gonna watch that because this Shazam, I seen the trailer for it. It looks fire. That's coming out, and then that's supposed to feed us into the Flash movie that we're about to get, with the actors from the TV show are also going to be in this movie. That's what I heard anyway. Either way, that's fire, because James is like, that's going to reset the entire DCU. Fire. I'm ready for that, because I could just jump in right now on Shazam and be like, okay, this was happening, because we already know Black Adam is not getting a sequel. They said that already, and I don't know, something else is not coming over. You know, they revamping shit for real. So this is where we starting at. Fuck with it. They doing Blue Beetle, which I'm excited for that. Blue Beetle's a fire character, just in general. I don't know, I fuck with him for whatever reason. I can't necessarily call him fire. He got like is the amulet magic? You know what? Focus. Yes, Blue Beetle movie, fire. And then that's Aquaman 2 is just gonna close out the story of Aquaman. So that's what I'm saying. This is the closers. These are really just like the last couple of movies that they was like, you know what, we could keep those. We ain't gonna scrap them. They already made. Yeah, let's go ahead and make a little bit more money real quick. Tie it into the overall plan so people know they need to go out there and support it so they can understand what's happening moving forward. Genius. I fuck with that. This next 8 to 10 years or whatever that he got planned, the first part of it, this whole chapter 1 shit called Gods and Monsters, I was like, oh, that's fire. Marvel over there, phase 1, 2, 3, or whatever, we telling it a different way. Chapter 1 over here, the DCU, titled Gods and Monsters. This is the plan. I fuck with that, because I'm just picturing in my head, it's like a book. This is James Gunn's DCU. And this motherfucker is like, chapter 1, these movies, watch these. This is the first part. Like, once everything's said and done, and they start releasing like collections and shit, like that whole chapter 1 Gods and Monsters thing, it's gonna hit like extra hard. Fire. I like this Creature Commando animated TV show that they kicking this shit off with. It just looks interesting based on the little thumbnail he was showing in this video, and I'm like slightly familiar with Creature Commandos. I feel like I've like heard of them motherfuckers before. Obviously they DC, but I think I like participated in watching the content. I'm not sure. Either way, that sounds fire. This Waller live action TV show, this giving me like Agent Carter vibes, but like black, because Viola Davis is reprising her role as Waller. And then supposedly, well, not supposedly, he said this, Crystal Henry, who is a part of Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created Doom Patrol, are like doing this show. So that's going to be really, really fire. He sounded excited about it. I'm excited about it. Watchmen is an incredible series. Doom Patrol is really good as well. And then, you know, it's Viola Davis. Actress extraordinaire. Like, come on. Viola Davis know how to act now. We ain't going to front on the queen. So, like, just off rip, I'm already like, oh, this is fire. Because even if this turned out to be the Waller TV show, even if it turned out to be like a limited series like Agent Carter, where it's like maybe 1 or 2 seasons, that's fine. I feel like all of this shit that I just talked about is like the preseason for DCU. It's like, okay, let us begin to set the stories up. They got this Creature Commando animated show kicking off the animated side of things, what they want to do. And then they got Waller over here about to kick off the live action shit, which makes sense. We done seen Waller in Black Adam, and you know, she's been in Doom Patrol, and what's the other show? Suicide Squad. Like, you know, she been holding it down as the Nick Fury of all this DC stuff. So why not keep her? She was phenomenal. Let's keep it going. I fuck with all of that. And this whole little preseason area, fire. And I'm saying that because Superman Legacy, I'm excited for this. Like, James sounded really, really hype about it. He's writing it himself, and based on what I know, we lost Henry. We lost Henry because of this project, and we know that it was mostly due to the fact that James wants to do like a younger version of Superman. So titling it Superman Legacy, fire. I feel like James Gunn is gonna in some way pay tribute to everything that Henry did as Superman in the previous, DC thing that we about to scrub clean. And this is gonna be like a fire kind of, I don't know, a mix of Smallville and everything that's happened in Henry Cavill's Superman, which I think, I don't know. I'm just thinking that that's what it might be. I don't know. He ain't really say much about it other than that he writing the shit himself. I would just imagine if it's titled Superman Legacy, something along those lines. Even if it's not that, it's the first like official start to the DCU. That's what he said. Like, this is the first like official shit. This the movie. I'm excited just off of that. It's feeling like Iron Man all over again. So I'm excited about that. Next, he was talking about this Lanterns HBO Max series with both Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart about to be in it. This shit sound fire. Like some kind of like space detective show, and then they uncover some super terrible mystery that feeds into the overall larger like DCU story that's happening. I'm fucking with it. It's feeling like Loki a little bit, but not, because Loki kind of put us on to everything going on with what's about to happen with Kang the Conqueror and shit, like the whole timelines and everything. Either way, fire. HBO Max and DC, they always they haven't missed with me. Everything I've participated in watching from DC on HBO Max, I fuck with it. So I think this is gonna be just the same. And we always have begged for like a true and solid Green Lantern like project. Not saying that Ryan Reynolds didn't do a good job, it just wasn't it. And plus, the fan favorite is motherfucking Jon Stewart. Hal Jordan, much respect, because you kind of brought us in with the Green Lantern shit in the first place, but everybody fuck with Jon. Now he's the guy. So we needed both of them though, and we kind of did, but it wasn't hitting. So I'm glad that they doing this, but making it a series, because it's something that could probably keep going. Now that I'm thinking about it, reminded me a little bit also of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Just, kind of feeling like if those were the lines that he's running on with what he want to do with this story, it's going to be extra fire. Next, he was talking about this Authority film, The Authority, which is a gang of superheroes that are willing to save the world. They feel like the world is broken and they are willing to fix it at all costs. Nothing is off bounds. So I'm feeling like also, because he said a different look at superheroes, I'm feeling like it's going to be kind of like The Boys on Amazon Prime. I feel like it's going to kind of go that way. But apparently these characters, it's a movie so, it's not going to be as long as The Boys. But apparently these characters are going to, what's the word? They are going to interact with the rest of the DCU characters. So we'll see them throughout projects. So that's going to be dope. So kind of like The Boys, but like X-Men maybe, or Fantastic Four, or yeah, something along those lines. I like what they doing here. It sounds fire. The next one was Paradise Island, which is going to be on HBO Max. It's a live action TV series about the mascara, which is, where Wonder Woman is from. That's dope, especially because I think, did we not lose the Wonder Woman, or did they say they still haven't decided? I don't know. Either way, I like the whole Game of Thrones vibe that he was talking about the show is probably going to be on. He said it like Westeros Game of Thrones, but with the mascara characters. And after the way House of Dragon is going and the immense amount of success and how tuned in I'll say everybody was for Game of Thrones, this has a potential to be really, really dope, especially because it's gonna be DC characters. Fire. After that, this is DCU's like Batman, so most likely, well, ain't no most likely, whatever is coming out next with Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz and all that, like, that's not going to be a part of this. What we do, or what we are going to have, is The Brave and the Bold, which sounds fucking fire, bro. Like, when he was describing this whole Batman thing, like, with his son Damian Wayne, who is going to be Robin, and how Robin's like this kid who has a assassinatory, like he like to kill, I guess. Like, he said he's a little assassin, so I guess he like to kill, and Batman's trying to, because Batman he not a killer, he don't do the killing thing, so he probably trying to get him in line, keep him from killing the enemies, I guess. I don't know, but it just sounds fire because it's Batman and his son versus, we usually get a Batman and Robin movie, but I fuck with it. That is his son, and this whole parent father-son dynamic thing they about to have going on. I really, really fuck with that for whatever reason. It's based on a comic book series by Garrett Morrison, which I don't know. I don't really read comics. I don't read comics at all, but I used to. Maybe I'll pick some up just to get into what James is trying to do here, because this one is based on the comic for Garrett Morrison, and it also begins the Bat family in the DCU, which is fire because obviously there's a Robin there. So I'm assuming Batgirl is going to be introduced at some point, and Nightwing, like he said Bat family, so we about to get it. Like on some Spider-Man shit now. Like, is this about to be like DCU's Spider-Verse, like the Batverse or something? Like, is that about to happen? Because if that is, I fuck with that as well, because that just sounds dope. And then what is it? Oh, the other thing. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. Booster Gold was the next one. Live action television series. He explained it as imposter syndrome, like a superhero story of it, though. Which, that sounds dope. Because if you know the story of Booster Gold, like, where he actually comes from, he ain't that nigga, bro. Like, he had to come back to the past with all his future shit to be somebody. And I think that will make for really interesting television. Like, just him describing it like that, I feel like I'm gonna be very, very interested to see how that turns out, especially because Booster Gold's not like, what I'm saying, he ain't no A-lister. He did kind of peg him as a fan favorite, like a cult favorite or whatever, and I can see that. Like, people know Booster Gold, but like, he ain't Superman status. You know what I'm saying? Either way, that story looks dope. And then the last one that he discussed, well, not the last one, but the next one, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. This one is based off of a comic book series as well by Tom Kings, he said, which made, this was why I was saying earlier, like, maybe I need to pick up some comic books real quick and like get into what James is probably trying to do. But that movie, yeah, it's gonna be a film. That movie sounds fire as well. Like, he kind of explained, we know Superman comes from a version of Krypton that no longer exists, and Kara, who is, Supergirl, her name's Kara, right? I think so. Either way, Supergirl, her story's a little different, and this Tom King's comic book series version of it is kind of like depicting that. It sounds like the movie is going to have some darker tones to it, just based on the way he describes her being raised based on the comic book series. But it sounds fire too. I'm really interested in all of these things that James Gunn's announced, bro. This is really, really dope. Even this last one, the Swamp Thing, which, I don't know, he mentioned the word horror, but I don't know if he was trying to say, is this going to be a horror film, or he was just saying like the origins of the Swamp Thing is like horrific. Either way, it's not supposed to be or not going to be tied directly to the DCEU, but it was supposed to feed into the stories that are going to come later. So that's going to be interesting. I hope he does be like, oh no, let's make that a horror film, because that's going to be fire. I really liked when Sam Raimi, is his name Sam Raimi? Yeah, I think so. When Raimi did his thing with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Yeah. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness with Scarlet Witch in there and all that shit. It was kind of, had a little tinge of horror film and thriller, and that was dope. And I don't know, I'm just looking at or thinking about the landscape of characters in both Marvel and DC. Like, there are some characters with some pretty grim and horrific storylines that they really could make horror films out of. So I'm hoping that James has, horror films in mind when it comes to some of these DC characters, because the way he described the Swamp Thing, I was like, okay, if this is going to be like a horror film, that could be really, really fire and really set some stuff up for DC to eat off for a long, long time, because we know how popular Halloween is here in the States. Like, it could be one of them type of situations where Swamp Thing becomes something. Either way, that's pretty much everything he described. This entire Gods and Monsters chapter, whatever, I'm like super excited for it, just based off of what he was able to describe in the video. The only thing that he mentioned that I wish he would have got to touch on in this particular video is what they have in mind for the gaming side. Like, we got TV, film, animation announcements all throughout this video, but he mentioned that they have the gaming side mapped out too for the next 8 to 10 years. So I would have liked to get some hint as to what that entails. But either way, I'm really, really excited. This entire announcement video was really, really dope. I had to stop what I was doing. I was like, oh shit, James is really about to go for it. I like the whole presentation behind it, the way he's setting it up to really be like a whole cinematic and television, like a whole universe that he's about to pretty much create from the ground up. And I don't know, that just sounds fire. I just think about it, I'm like, damn, bro, he's really playing creative director with one of the most popular superhero franchises of all time, and he about to build a live action animated gaming universe from it, the same way he was doing over at Marvel, but with complete control from start to finish. This shit about to be epic. We about to see artistry on a new level from James, because he's gonna have control from top to bottom, beginning to end of whatever story he's about to tell. This shit about to be fire. Let me know how y'all feel about it. Find a comment section somewhere underneath this piece of audio, or just hit me up at BRIANSAPPH on whatever social media platform you choose to frequent. I'm on TikTok, but I don't really be on there like that. Either way, hit me up. Twitter, that's probably a good place to talk directly at me, because I don't know if I'm gonna post this any place other than the podcast. I'm thinking about YouTube, but I'm not sure yet. Either way, if you're listening to this on YouTube, you got comments under there. Listening to it on any of your podcast streaming platforms, just hit me up on Twitter or Instagram. Either way, I'll catch you on the next episode.
Stop playing with them, Riot. I bet he gon' get what she like. So what's your sign? Cause I like you. Got a place we can stay for the night, but I'm too shy to invite you. You got a gangster vibe, and I want a gangster boo. One of a dangerous kind. I'm trying to see how a gangster move. You never worry about no exes. On my body, I'm the bestest. Diamonds keep dancing on my necklace. Bitch, stay mad just like